Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ podcast. My name is Mike.
And I am Joe Bunn.
Joe, I know I said a while back we should stop saying the number of the episode every single time.
Yeah.
This is episode 185.
Wow.
Can we just take a moment to pat each other on the backs? That's pretty amazing, man. 185. And really, other than Christmas, which we've taken the last 2 years off. Mm-hmm. We didn't even year one we didn't even take Christmas off, but the last 2 years we just replayed the Christmas Carol.
Our favorite Christmas songs.
Christmas one. Other than that, so that's 51 new shows a year. It's quite an accomplishment.
It really is, man. It really is. Because we didn't know how it was going to start. We didn't know how it was going to keep ending. We've had some bumpy patches, where we thought we had said it all. We've had bumpy patches where we got mad at each other. We've,
played out live and on the air.
Yeah. Yes. But I think people, I was just on the phone with Jim Collins and he was like, man, I think this just gives something people to look forward to every week, consistency in their lives and, positivity. I think we've done a pretty good job of staying positive and, are going to continue to do so. Even though behind closed doors, we may be slamming those doors, but
I think I shared this already. When I met Kelly, she had just gotten out of her divorce and she went through tough patches, obviously, young woman divorce. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day I saw her, she was wearing this bright pink blouse. And I was like, wow, it's a great blouse. And she said, dark and gloomy on the inside, bright and shiny on the outside. And I think sometimes that's what you have to be. I mean, no matter how negative it all is in here, just act like it's not. And sometimes you can actually convince yourself, Yeah,
I think you can totally convince yourself. You can convince others. And you can definitely convince yourself. It's all state of mind and listen, I'm not in a mask debate. I wear the mask. I got back left pocket every day. But the mask, as I said last week.
What was that line that you just used? You're not going to mask?
No, not getting into a mask debate.
Oh, I thought you came up with some clever masturbate, but masker. I was like, that was pretty cool. I had not heard that one. Oh, you don't want to start a mask debate?
No, I don't want to masturbate or maskabate.
Okay. All right,
but I wear the mask. It's in my back. Look, it's always in my back left pocket. There it is, everybody. Is that your one? That's the Bunn. Yeah, that's my one.
You got branding on that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We did the same thing. Wait, let me get that.
And hand sanitizer too.
Well, you did the branded hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the Elite.
The Elite, I saw it. I love it.
Anyone who's listening to this now is like, what are they doing? They're doing
right. Sorry, that's right. Forgot everybody's not on video, but
right.
That, as I spoke about last week, is what makes it all too real for me every morning. So sometimes I wake up and I've got this like, it's going to be a good day. And then I go to that first stop and I'll get out of the car and inevitably I always walk to the door and go, oh my God, don't have my mask on. Back left pocket. Yeah. That's why I keep it there. That's why people are hanging it on their rearview mirror now, like their air freshener. Like it's just, and then all of a sudden that first hour of the day, you're right back to reality. You see everybody walking around in a mask. I'll never get used to that. I don't care if we're still wearing them a year from now. I don't think I'll ever.
Well, we won't be.
Thank you for saying that.
It is the. I agree. That's the shock to the system and even sometimes when you have it on, you forget you have it on. It's because it's really not that big a deal for people who think it is. It's really not a big deal. Put it on, you'll forget you have it on within 30 seconds. But it's when you look around and see everyone else with it on, you're standing in line or for a store, and then you're like, oh yeah, shit, this is
happening. Yeah, you're sitting in a movie.
I hate to say the new norm. It's a new temporary norm. That's all it is.
There you go. Thank you.
So we've already kind of stumbled on the topic, but we're going to take another one from the PHDJ podcast discussion group.
If you're not a member, join it. Great.
Join it.
Great
search
Facebook
us out on
group.
Facebook. Yeah, it's all positive. It's all good stuff. And I asked 2 weeks ago if people wanted to propose some topics. David Myers, who joins us from Florida, loyal listener, wrote, how about life balance? I know you have discussed this in the past, but what are you guys doing now during the stress of COVID? So I thought it was a good topic. David, I don't know if I've met David. I'm looking at his picture. I think we may have met at a show. He has I like his intro on Facebook. He says, I'm a disc jockey who loves music from the 20s to today's music.
Damn.
And I thought he probably wrote that a while ago, because nowadays you could just write from the 20s to the 20s, because we're in the 20s now. So if you want to update that, David, you can. If you like music from the 20s to the 20s.
Literally 100-year span.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's throw it out there, man. You and I both preach the importance of life balance, and I think a huge part of it is what we led with already: staying positive, trying to be upbeat, put on a brave face. What is Joe Bunn doing? What kind of strategies, other than masturbating, are you doing to stay positive?
Man, I'm like, Mike and I are very similar in a lot of ways. We're different, but we're similar in a lot of ways. And Mike's post from a couple of days ago summed up exactly how I feel. I'll go to the mountains, but it's usually if somebody kind of drags me Western North Carolina. But I'm a beach boy all the way, man. Like, I love the beach. My grandparents built a house, probably, I think it's 80 years old now, and it's still there. It's been renovated a couple of times. And, other than my uncle, who we split the house with, we have that every other week. And for this year, unlike most years, I've been able to go more than any time in the past 35 years. This is the longest gap I've had between shows in 35 years, since I was 13 years old.
You haven't done anything, right?
I haven't played.
Wow.
Yeah. Still not played. And every time that it's about to come,
it gets punted. Yeah. I've done 2. I've got an officiating only gig this weekend, and then I have a small wedding the weekend after. So I've done a handful, nowhere near as much. But
I thought it was August 7th. It was supposed to be, the restart was August 7th. And then she called today and said she wanted to shorten the hours and no lights and no dancing. And I gave it to one of my guys that was having a little bit of monetary problems. And
that's nice.
Said, man, that's not the way I'm coming back into this. It's got to be better than that.
What Joe was referring to, Kelly and I, my wife and I, were away for an extended weekend, upstate New York. Really beautiful cabin.
It looked beautiful.
In the woods. And this just shows you what a good husband I am. Not my cup of tea. It wouldn't have been my vacation of choice, but Kelly loves it. And I do have to say, very relaxing, 0 cell signal, Joe. So, if you can imagine, when I called you Tuesday to find out, I was like, has Joe been trying to reach me all weekend? I didn't leave you a message, but 0 cell signal. One of the things I did love that I haven't done in a long time, and I kind of forgot the joy of, is a campfire at night.
Yeah,
other than one night when it rained, we had a fire pit in the backyard, and just every night we would just put a bunch of wood in there and light it up and roast some marshmallows and listen to music, or just sit there and listen to the wood crackle. There is a very simple pleasure in that, and got reminded.
That looked fun, man. It really did.
Cool. But very chill.
So I guess that goes, to say, listen, is the world crazy? Yes. Are you going to get on the plane and go to the Bahamas? No, because they just literally banned us from coming there this morning. But, I think that there is still an ability, even in whatever town you live in. Even here in North Carolina, we went to the lake last weekend. There's a lake in any town, even if you don't have a boat. Go there and rent a kayak or a paddle boat, or just go there and, take a couple of cane poles and go fishing. Like, to get out and take a trip, whether it's, a one-day trip or an overnight or whatever, is going to, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, is going to free your soul a little bit. And it's important right now, especially if you're way off your routine. Like, I've almost gotten, God, I hate to say this, man, I've almost gotten used to not working on Saturday now. And that's it's
dangerous. It is dangerous.
It is. I had 3 months, Mike, honestly, of every Saturday, I would have this almost panic attack, like I'm supposed to be somewhere. And scarily enough, man, it's almost worn off. I think
crazy. It will take a while once you get back into normalcy, but I also think normalcy will slowly creep back. So I think I think most of us, instead of going back into a full schedule, will kind of trickle back up. So I think the schedule itself will help us ease our way back in. But it's been most weekends, and that's one of the things I have written down in preparation for this is we all have to enjoy this time off, because even though it's been forced on us and we probably are taking it begrudgingly, I don't know what your 2021 schedule is looking like, but it is packing out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying no to any of these reassignments. If anyone's pushing back. So I'm going to wind up doing a ton of events in 2021. So like I said to Kelly this weekend, we're going to do this again in the fall. I don't know yet when, but I'm sure I'm going to have multiple weekends off in the fall, if not every single weekend off.
Yeah.
So we'll do this again. We'll find a cabin. We'll bring the dogs. We'll have a nice fall foliage type of weekend. But shame on you if you don't take this opportunity, because next year you probably won't have it. So
that's exactly what I said in that video last week that I made. I was like, emergency press conference, and the last thing I said was, you just don't know when you're going to have this much time for this long off again. So spend it, with your people. Whether that's your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, family, if you feel comfortable being around them, at least your immediate family, your kids, your wife, your husband. Like, it's just super rare to be off this long. And, I've enjoyed it. Are there ups and downs? Absolutely. I could see a breaking spot last night. My oldest son, he hadn't really seen many of his friends, and now they're not going back to school now. And
remind everybody, how old is he?
He's 15, so he's
a tough age.
He's, he's in puberty. He's driving.
15. All you wanted to do was hang out with your boys, maybe even have a girlfriend or something like that. Yeah. It's going to be a really, really difficult age.
It's tough, man. And they're not going back to school,
Yeah. For you and I, missing a summer at this point in our life, it's not a big deal. I'm going to have another one. But missing a summer at 15 is pretty freaking significant, you know?
And the beginning of your 10th grade year in high school, now you're not the freshman, you're not the noob, you're not the rookie, you're becoming the man, you know what I mean? You're not the man, you're not a senior, but it's just disheartening, man. But
we were going to be positive, Joe.
We're positive. Hey, head up.
So what else you got? What else is Joe Bunn doing to stay balanced and positive?
Man, I think that you and I, you even earlier than I did, really early or earlier in your career than I did, started this pivot towards education. And, there's no doubt that you and I, between seminars and videos we've made and things we've sold and people we've talked to on the phone and places, that you've flown to and taught people how to be proper MCs. Like, I think that's the other thing that really keeps me balanced. In terms of doing the DJ's Vault. We've been shooting all day today with Linus. That's why my voice is kind of scratchy. We were talking about that earlier, because I just been doing, reading the teleprompter and then kind of winging some stuff. And we've been shooting all afternoon for the August 1st releases. And, so that's kept me going. But on the same token, there's so many people in that community that reach out to me like, hey man, how you doing? How you holding up? Like, that last post was a little questionable. You know what I mean? And so as much as they think I've helped them, I feel like it's also vice versa, that they've helped me.
I think that's what happens when you throw yourself out there and you make connections in the industry. You help them, and it becomes a cyclical thing. And I think that let's face it, I haven't done it for the financial. I think you've probably monetized it better than I have with the Vault, but neither one of us is becoming a millionaire on doing this. So you do it because the industry has been good to you, and you want to kind of give back to it. And I think most people have that opportunity. Whether they utilize it or not is up to them,
100%. What else for you, Mike?
I know you agree with this. I don't know whether you have it on your list, but to me, exercise has been a big, big thing.
Critical.
Blowing off that steam almost every single morning, whether it's bike riding, whether it's lifting weights, or I've been slowly putting running back into my fitness. It just, sometimes you just wake up, like you say, you have those moments you're pent up but just to be able to get a lot of that energy out it really helps,
I saw you in that tank top, Mike, last weekend. You're looking good, bro. Your biceps are kind of like,
I'm doing a little, but
I said, oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. But I couldn't agree more, Mike. It's whether it's just walking, if that's how you start, perfect, walk, but I've luckily that F45, which is a franchise functional 45, has at least been allowed to do outdoor classes in the past month. And it ain't pleasant here. It's 98 every single day now, and it is humid as shit, but it's in the shade on a baseball field in the grass. You bring your own mat, your own towel, your own water. You don't transfer stations like we did most interval training classes. Right. They bring the dumbbells, which have been sanitize. I even wipe them down again. And you go out there and just sweat, man. And 45 minutes later, I feel a lot better than when I arrived there. Put it that way.
Physically, it's good for your long term to be in better health is certainly good for you, especially during a pandemic, but even just in general. But yeah, just the immediate aftermath of working out. I mean, I go down and hit the boardwalk every once in a while and just run 4 miles, and then if it's early enough in the morning, I plant my ass on the beach for an hour, and just that feeling of having sweated it out and gotten it out of you, it feels good for the rest of the day.
It does, man. I do mornings sometimes. My energy and my food level and everything, I feel like it's better in the afternoon, but the negative is it's so hot in the afternoon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So it just depends. I could go either way and in terms of when I exercise, but you know, I'm on that routine, man. And it becomes as common as, you know, brushing my teeth. It's right. Always Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I may throw in an extra day here or there, but it's always those days, whether it's morning or afternoon. I can't, it feels very awkward to miss it. Very strange to me.
Totally agree. You got more?
No, you keep going. And I want to.
So I think identifying the positive and the negative people in your life is important. And I've made a conscious effort, especially on social media.
I saw your post today about the algorithm
and block some people who I just think are being overly negative during this time. And listen, I'm well aware that some people might think I'm overly negative because I put a lot of debates out onto Facebook and start a lot of conversations that some people just don't like. Some people like social media for ham sandwiches. Like, you know what I mean? Like all they want to do is see a picture of what did you have for lunch? Blah, blah, blah. That's all they want, which is fine. But
rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, so some people might consider me negative, and I'm fine with that if you want to block me or unfollow me for that reason. But I've done that more during this time than ever. Yeah. I'm more sensitive about I've always said that I'm an optimistic person, and I still am. Yeah. But it's harder to be during this time. So when things are going great, it's kind of easy to be, I'm a glass half full kind of person. Well, yeah, what's wrong with your life that you wouldn't be? You know what I mean? Sure. But when things are, kind of rocky, it's a little bit harder. And I think one of the ways that I'm really making a conscious effort to stay positive is just remove myself from those negative people.
Yeah, man. I did have another one that I think is super important. It's we talked about travel earlier. We had a lot of travel planned this year, man. It's crazy. Like this was the year we had Disney planned for spring break. My kids have never been to Disney, and they're that old, they're 15 and 12, and they just had never really wanted to go. We were surprising them. And then we had England, because that's where Ainsley's family's from. We were going to go down to Florida, where I always go fishing, where I took the hook in my neck, so on and so forth. And, I kind of replaced that with going to the beach more. Right. The other thing that I'm missing this year, is the concerts. I'm like you, like I'll go see the Backstreet Boys, or I'll go see freaking the Stones. I don't care. Like, I love a live show. Me too. If they're coming and it's even moderately interesting or historical, I feel like I need to see this person, I'm going. Mm-hmm. And man, I had, a stack of concert tickets sitting I always keep them in my glove compartment, just ready, ready when I get there, that I'm just going to reach in there and pull them out, or on my phone now, I guess. Motley Crue was 75,000 people in Charlotte. That was like last weekend or the weekend before. And just anybody from them to, this small indie band that was coming is just, it's so disheartening. But the music has saved me, like I'm still always, as you are, listening to music, whether I have my notes right here, and there's the word music. Yeah. Music, I think that's one of the things that you and I have in common. We can sink our teeth into a new album, an old album, a new song that drops, and it literally can change your mood. So totally. I'm assuming that if you're a DJ, you probably have that trait. I can't imagine. I hope so. It isn't affected by music. So, man, if so, focus on the music. Yeah. Music will pull you through. Totally agree. Anything else, I was also reminded this weekend, 5 days of unplugging and not following the news.
When I finally looked at the news last night for the first time,
not a damn thing had changed.
Not a damn thing had changed. So, I think you and I have talked about it before. I think it's important to stay informed.
Yes.
But don't binge on the news. Do not come home and turn on whatever you watch, CNN, Fox, whatever, and leave it on all night, because it will wear you down.
Yeah.
Gnaw at you. First of all, I think reading news is better than watching and listening. So if you're going to consume, I'd rather read the newspapers.
That's a good point.
And read stuff rather than watch it. But if I watch something, it's, half hour, that's it. And then turn it off and move on. Find something entertaining, find an escape, watch a movie, find a stupid, dumb TV show that you can escape.
Mindless.
Mindless, but don't binge on the news, because it's just going to bring you down.
It is. Yeah. And definitely don't binge on the conspiracy videos on YouTube.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't
work for your brain.
I love that word. I'm going to work that in there.
Oh, man. Anything else, Mike? This is good
stuff. I think that's all I got. Stay positive. Music I had, exercise, enjoy time away with loved ones.
Man, I think we were spot on with each other.
I said to Kelly, you ain't going to see me next year. So enjoy me this year, because I'm going to be working my butt off.
Oh, man. That's so true. That's so true. Well, everybody, I hope is hanging in there. Everybody try and stay safe. Stay healthy, do what you can to get through the shows that you do get this year. And like I said last week, they're just going to be, I consider them a bonus or a gift this year. You know what I mean? Whatever happens is going to happen. And hopefully whatever these vaccines I'm hearing about are fast tracking, and
they can't get here soon enough.
They cannot. Nope. Thank you guys. And again, PHDJ podcast discussion group is on Facebook. And that's how we came up with this topic. So if you have suggestions, fire them off.
Sounds good. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Ciao.